Hello everyone! Today, I'm going to teach you the 4 verbs present tenses. And these are the simple present, present progressive or continuous, present perfect, and present perfect progressive or continuous. In today's tutorial, I will be giving emphasis on the structure, functions, and some rules in using these verb tenses in the sentence. Let's begin with the simple present. Structure. When we are using a simple present in a sentence, we always, of course, begin with a subject, then the base form of the verb. 2 important structures or parts using simple present. It's just that you need to make adjustment in using your base form of the verb. If the subject is singular, then you have to add s or es to your verb. Then, if it is plural, you don't have to add s or es. Okay, that is the kind of adjustment that you are going to consider in using the simple present tense. First function of the simple present is you may use this if you want to express habits or habit. For example, he drinks milk at breakfast. Let's check these examples here if these are using the right structure. We have here our subject he, and he is a singular subject. Then followed with our verb here, drinks. We add s here. We add s here because our subject he is a singular subject. And the rule says if the subject is singular, then we have to add s or es to our verb. It's our base form of the verb. The base form here is drink. We just added s here to make it into singular. So he drinks milk at breakfast. This statement or example means that it is already or it is his habit to drink milk at or during breakfast. Another example, we watch a movie regularly. We have here our subject we, and we is a plural subject. That is why in our verb, in our base form of the verb here, which is watch, we don't have to add s or es. Because by not adding s or es, it means that our base form of the verb is in plural. Okay? Because our subject we is a plural subject. So we cannot say we watches, but it should be we watch a movie regularly. So that's another example of expressing one's habit. Okay? And that is the first function, to express habits or habit. Another function of the simple present tense is to express repeated action or event. Okay? For example, we play basketball every weekend. We have here our subject we, and we is a plural subject. That is why we don't add s for the verb play. We cannot say we plays, but it must be we play. You don't have to add s here. Then our phrase every weekend here suggests that the action is being repeated because it says every weekend. Another example here, she visits her family every Friday. Then we have here our subject she. She is a singular subject. Then our verb here, visits. If you notice here, we added s here. That is because of our singular subject, which is she. Then every Friday, this suggests or indicates that the action or visiting her family is a repeated action or event. Okay? And that's another way of using simple present. Another function is to express general truths. For example, the earth revolves around the sun. We have here our subject, the earth, which is singular. That is why we added s to our base form of the verb revolve. So it became revolves to make it into singular also, because we have a singular subject which is earth. So the earth revolves around the sun. Okay, to express a general truth. Another function is to express fixed arrangement. For example, my sister arrives this morning. We have here my sister as our subject, and my sister is a singular subject. and that is why we added s to our verb arrive. So it became arrives. My sister arrives this morning. Now let's move to the simple present progressive structure. The structure of present progressive is different from the structure of the simple present. Of course, we always start with a subject, but in here, after the subject, we are going to follow it with the linking or helping verbs am, is, or are. It depends on your subject. If your subject is I, then you're going to pair it with am. If your subject is singular, then you're going to pair it with is. And if your subject is plural, then you're going to pair it with are. Okay? So this is also the kind of adjustment that you need to consider in the present progressive tense. And after that, follow it with the present participle form of the verb. If you do not know what a present participle of the verb means, it means, or it refers to the ing form of the verb. When you say ing form of the verb, for example, the verb cry, so crying, walking, singing, dancing, participating, acting, okay, ing form of the verb, and we call them the present participles. Okay, then first function, to express an ongoing action. When you say ongoing action, at the moment of speaking, the action is ongoing or still being done by someone or whoever the doer of the action is. It means that the action is not yet done. It is ongoing at the moment of speaking. For example, he is playing basketball right now. We have here our subject he, and he is a singular subject. That is why we paired it with a singular linking or helping verb, which is. Then followed with the present participle or the ing form of the verb playing. Okay? So that's how the structure looks like. Then right now means the person is still playing basketball at the moment of speaking. Okay? He is not yet done playing basketball. Okay? Another example here. I am writing a letter. We have here our subject I. That is why we paired it with am. Because we cannot say I is or I are. It must be I am. Then we have here writing as our present participle or the ing form of the verb. And the statement means that at the moment of speaking, I am not yet done writing my letter. So I am still writing a letter right now or at the moment of speaking, because the action is still ongoing, and that is what is meant by present progressive or continuous tense. Another function of the present progressive is to express a future event. So please don't be confused, because when we say future event, you might think that are we talking about the future tense here? It's not yet. Future tense has also its structures, but it's just that the present progressive may be used to indicate a future event. For examples, they are visiting us next week. So let's check the structure. They is our subject. Then we paired it with the linking or helping verb are, because they is a plural subject. Visiting is our present participle. Then the time element next week here indicates or suggests that the action is going to happen in the future. Another example here. I am meeting some friends after class. We have here I as our subject. It's always paired with the linking or helping verb am, then the present participle meeting. Then after class here suggests that the action is going to happen in the future, or it is a future event, and that is after class. So let's move now to the present perfect. Okay? And the present perfect has its own structure as well. Of course, we always begin with the subject, followed with has or have. Okay, for has or have, you need to adjust in using them. If the subject is singular, then you're going to use has. If the subject is plural, then you are going to use have. Then the past participle form of the verb. So if we have present participle, we also have past participle. Past participle is different in terms of form. Past participle is different from the present participle because the present participle always comes in the ing form of the verb, while the past participle, our verbs end in different ways. Some verbs end with ed or d, those are the past participle already, and sometimes the spelling changes. Okay? So it ends differently. That's why if you want to use present perfect in the sentence, you need to be knowledgeable enough with the past participle form of the verb that you want to use in the sentence. Let's go to the first function. The first function of the present perfect is to describe something that happened in the past, but the exact time it happened is not important. But of course, it has a relationship with the present. So it means that you did a certain action in the past, but you want to express it in a way that you don't want to indicate a specific time when you did that action, then that is the best time to use the present perfect. And remember that it has always relationship with the present, though it happened in the past, but what you were doing in the past has something to do with the present. So they are just connected, or the action is really close to the present time. It's just that you don't want to indicate the exact time it happened. It maybe because it's no longer important. Okay? That is what is meant by the present perfect. For example, I have done my project. We have here our subject I. That is why we paired it with the auxiliary verb have, because we cannot say I has. It must be I have. Then done here is the past participle. Okay? You cannot say I have do, I have does, or I have did. You cannot do that. It must be I have done, because it must be the past participle form of the verb. Another example here, she has taken the test. She is our subject. That is why we used the auxiliary verb has, because has is for a singular subject like she. Then taken here is our past participle. We cannot say she has take, or she has takes, or she has took. It must be she has taken. Okay? Past participle form of the verb. Another function of present perfect is you may use it with the word already and just. Okay? When you say already, it means something has happened sooner than expected, while just means a short time ago. So when you use just, it means that you were doing an action that happened maybe a moment ago, or a minute ago, or 2 minutes ago, in a short period of time. Okay? For example, the students have already submitted their assignments. We have here the students as our subject, and students is a plural subject. That is why we use the auxiliary verb have. Then, we inserted the word already here before our past participle, which is submitted. Okay? Have already submitted. But of course, it has a corresponding meaning, because the word already, as I said, it has a meaning. Another example here, I have just sent you a text message. So we have here I as our subject, then paired it with the auxiliary verb have, because you cannot say I has. It must be I have. Then before our past participle sent, we have here the word just. And remember, just, the word just has its own meaning as well. The complete meaning of this statement is, I sent you a text message a moment ago, or a short time ago, or to be more specific, it may be a minute ago, or 2 minutes ago, or 5 minutes ago. Okay, that is what is meant by just. I have just sent you a text message. Okay, so if you can see here, you added have and just, but the structure does not change. So you still have the auxiliary verb and the past participle form of the verb. And finally, let's move to the present perfect progressive or continuous structure. Okay, if you can see the structure right now, it looks differently from the first three verb tenses that we had. Okay, of course, it always starts with the subject. We also have here has or have, depending on your subject, whether it is singular or plural. Then we have a new word here, been. Previously, we didn't have the word been in their structures. But right now, we have the word been, then the present participle. Earlier, we already talked about what a present participle is. The main function of the present perfect progressive is this indicates that the action already started in the past and continues up until now or in the present. In short, you started a certain action in the past, or shall we say yesterday. You started a certain action yesterday, and that particular action still continues at the present, or in the present, or until now. Okay? So the action is ongoing. Let's have some examples. Mark has been working at that company for 5 years now. We have here Mark as our subject, and Mark is a singular subject. That is why we paired it with the auxiliary verb has, followed with been, as indicated in the structure, then followed with the present participle or the ing form of the verb. So Mark has been working at that company for 5 years now. This means that Mark started to work in that company 5 years ago. And up to now, or until now, or in the present, Mark is still working in that company. Okay? Mark is still connected with that company. That is what is meant by the example. Another example here, I have been teaching in that school since last year. We have here our subject I paired with the auxiliary verb have, then followed with the word been, then the present participle or the ing form of the verb teaching. Then this statement means that I started working or I started teaching in that school last year. Then until right now or up to now or in the present, I am still working in that school. Okay? I am still connected with or at that school. That is what is meant by I have been teaching in that school since last year. Those are the 4 verbs present tenses.